here, Advanced Movement Therapist. Today I'm going to show you how to better connect your core to eliminate back pain. Now, the inner core is composed of basically four major muscle groups. So it's transverse abdominis that acts like a corset, comes around like this. You've got multifidi, which are little muscles in the spine that help stabilize each segment. You've got the pelvic floor that supports the bottom. You've got the diaphragm that supports from the top. Now, these muscles don't really work very well from a conscious control perspective, but we can access them through the breathing reflex. So we're going to go after my three favorite exercises, which is your dead bug, your side plank, and your bird dog. And then I'm going to show you a fourth exercise to better connect it to some other muscles that I do consider as part of the core musculature. So the first one we're going to do is your dead bug. Now, to set this, I see a lot of people with an arch back where the back is arched away from the table or the floor. As soon as that arch happens, those muscles are going to be overstretched and your hip flexors and erectors are going to be too dominant. So in order to set this properly, we're going to start with a breath, and we breathe in through the nose. Purse lips like you're blowing up a balloon. And you're going to empty all the air out. And what you should feel is you should feel the belly button and the abdominal wall flatten and pull towards the floor. Once that's set, then you can put a little posterior pelvic tilt, then you can put a little compression, flatten your lower back, and then lift the legs up. So that position should not change during any of these additional movements. If you have the strength control, we're going to maintain that tension. Take a breath in, set it again, and we're going to drop the left leg and the right arm. Now, the key thing here is making sure your back doesn't lift off the floor. As soon as that anterior pelvic tilt happens, the core muscles are out of the equation. You're going to be using some hip muscles and some other muscles that we don't want. So to keep that inner core engaged, and then we stack the outer core on top of it. And as you get stronger with this, you can go longer, but you got to maintain that posterior pelvic tilt. You got to feel the right muscles, and you have to be able to breathe. If you're holding and bracing, then we're using the wrong strategies. Okay, we don't want to use a bracing strategy at this point. We want to use control and timing. Stay here for a breath. You should feel a lot of tension in the front here. Come on back and reset. Let all the tension go. Reset it. And then switch sides. So we want to teach timing and sequencing. We don't want to keep tension on all the time. That's just a bracing strategy and becomes inefficient. For the lateral core, we're going to move to a side plank position. If you do have control, if you have good control and adequate muscle tension, you can go long lever. But let's start with a bent knee because we want to work on proper setting and timing. Just like in the dead bug, we're going to start with a breath. Deep breath in, exhale, purse lips, finish the breath. Don't get impatient. Don't get ahead of your breathing. Squeeze your glutes and bring it forward. So now we're in this long or this short side plank. I can feel my lat, I can feel my obliques, and I can feel my back glute. Now, it's important that we feel the back glute because the glute medius minimus is part of the lateral sling. If I rotate slightly forward, my glutes turn off and I can feel tension in the TFL. I don't want that. So make sure you can feel that back part of the glute here. We're going to set with a breath. We can stay here and we can clam. Okay, so we can do isometrics, or we can move in and out of it. So now we're getting a little bit of a stretch through that lateral sling. Deep breath in, set, squeeze the glutes up nice and high. Do a little neck check to make sure there's no tension in the neck, and you're good to go. The third one, we're moving up into quadruped, so we're going to go into our bird dogs. We're going after that posterior sling. So to find neutral, we're going to arch all the way down, do a little cat camel, arch all the way up. Now find a halfway point between those two positions. Setting the breath like we did before. Breath in through nose, purse lips, so pulling the belly button up without changing the spine position. And we're going to keep a nice tall long neck, push the floor away, straighten a leg, and then lift an arm. Set with a breath. You can do a little head rotation here to make sure that there's no tension in the neck being carried, and then come on back down. Reset each time. Breath in, set the breath, lift, and turn. If you're not sure of your pelvic position, you can use a yoga block or a towel and put that on your lower back. And this will give you feedback as to whether you're changing your spinal position or whether you're twisting and rotating. So if we have a ball, if we're using something on our lower back, we can feel that we're rotating away, and we want to maintain kind of that neutral type position, especially when we've got low back issues. okay? So we can flex and extend, find that neutral, set, and go. The last one we're going to do is we're going to do a glute bridge. Now, I know that the glutes are not primary inner core muscles, but the glutes help with propulsion. They help set with the posterior pelvic tilt, and they help drive a lot of our movement. So once the inner core is set, it's best to retrain the glutes, the pelvic position, to start working together. Now, when we're setting this up, same position, breath in through the nose, purse lips, ribs come down, flatten the back. I'm going to dig my heels in. I'm going to do a little scoop with the hips, got a posterior pelvic tilt, and come up. If you're doing this right, you should feel glutes and front core working. If you just drive up with an increased lordosis, you're going to feel a pinch in the low back, okay? Glutes, I can do this without even using my glutes, and the ribs pop up and flare. So we're going to cause some compression back there that we may not want. So set it up, breath in, set, belly button down, glutes engaged. And then even from here, we can make it a little bit more challenging, turn into a tripod position. We can stretch hamstrings, we can mobilize neural tissue on the back here. And the entire time, you should only be feeling glutes, okay? Hamstrings should be spasming up if you could set that up properly. I hope you found this video helpful for eliminating a lot of your low back pain and just really setting the inner core muscles before you start doing more complex things for like deadlifting and squatting and more of the fun stuff. But it is important that we have that inner system working so it actually decompresses and stabilizes the spine locally before we add global compression. If you like this video, hit subscribe. If you think it can be helpful for anybody, share and like it. And if you're a clinician who's looking for more principles and how to better teach your clients exercise prescription more intentionally and with more accuracy, head over to amtcertified.com and get certified today.